Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. What do you think our audience is right now? Like one, two, us?
Yeah, two, if we're lucky. My dad, maybe. I'm
Hi,
excited.
Dad. My dad's not watching. He'll definitely congratulate me later, but he's not live watching. All right.
What's going on, Joe? How are you?
If you're watching this and you are here, you know that this is JQ with HPG, and I'm Joe with Jenny Mark. And this has been a really cool series that we've been doing together for a few months called the JQ and Joe Prospecting Show to just put a little bit of kick in your step over prospecting for distributors and service providers and suppliers. So we've had a lot of fun topics and we wanted to rewind for a moment and just share like how this all started. So obviously you're all following JQ on all. Oh, I think we just went live and we just did a little spiel. So we're live.
Yeah, we're
What's
live.
up? JQ and Joe are here. Thank you for coming. Thanks for attending.
Yay!
We love the comments. Keep them coming. This has been a really fun series on prospecting for the last few months. And today's show is sort of going to be unscripted with lots of questions from you. And just to rewind and let you know, the way this all started was just a simple question. And I know you're all following JQ on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on all the things. And JQ constantly posts her quotes and her thoughts on LinkedIn about something for prospecting, usually daily. And on a weekend one day, she said something about prospecting, and I saw it on a weekend, and I completely disagreed with her. Got her number, sent her a text, and within a minute, we started talking about different perspectives on what she had shared on social. And that conversation stemmed with a, wow, you have a lot to say about prospecting. I have a lot to say about prospecting. Both our names start with J. This feels like a really magical thing. And so, in that formed the JQ and Joe show, where we covered a lot of really fun topics about burnout in prospecting, ghosting, how to make a list. It goes on and on. We'll get to all those things we covered, which are also live on our website if you want to go back to podcast and watch and listen. But here we are today. It's the final episode. We're going to take live questions. We're going to answer your questions. We are going to do all the comments. We're going to recap some stuff, but we want everyone to jump in, use the chat, ask questions, and know that you can reach us anytime. So please interrupt. But yeah, I just want to ask you, JQ, of all the shows we've done,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
ghosting, burnout, imposter syndrome, it was a really good one that hit for me, stalking and creating a list. What was your favorite?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you said imposter syndrome. That was my favorite. 100%. That was my favorite. Because that's the most, that's my biggest pain point. I deal with that as a sales rep. So I think that it was kind of just brave of us to bust that topic open. There's a lot of other sales reps and leaders that are dealing with that, even folks that are on marketing teams that aren't even a part of the sales cycle that still want to contribute. They have this as well. So I thought it was good on us that we talked about it. I'm glad we went there. That was my favorite.
Yeah, that one kind of came unexpected. A lot of the stuff was unscripted, and we would just throw ideas out of something that happened that week. But I
Right.
remember in that episode, I was talking and I said something about like the person that hired believe in you, and you have to remember that you were hired for a reason. And we did our spiel, we gave our tips and our tricks, which again, you can go back and watch all the content and listen. And yeah, I had this like Will Farrell moment in Old School when he does the debate and then passes out, and he's like, "What did I say?" Because I had heard myself give that advice and thought, you need to take that own advice. You're sitting here coaching and teaching people about prospecting. Why do you feel like an imposter? So it has been so interesting for me to do this with you and gain confidence and listen to the advice we're giving and reboost myself every single day. So I agree.
Same.
That was my
Same.
favorite with the stalking one, a close second, baby reindeer. That was a stalking
Oh,
because
no, you know what's so funny? I made a note, my least favorite. That was my one. Because you know why? I loved the beginning of that show. And then it got really dark for me. And I was like, I don't know if I can hang. And then I felt like I kind of let you down. Then I was like, I don't know if I can have this conversation. So that was the hardest one for me to prepare for was yeah.
okay, so if
But
anyone has or not listened to this, the Baby Reindeer one was based off the series Baby Reindeer, and it really dealt with a lot of mental health, and stalking was the key
sure.
of it. And it really, our conversation started to think about like, how are you engaging with your prospects, your clients, and what are you doing are you going too far? And I can see how you thought it went dark. I thought it was a very great conversation. And then Baby
Yep.
Reindeer in real life, IRL, won all these awards. So I think a lot of people did feel that show for real life was dark, but it actually really just hit and touched on a lot of really good, important topics for mental health, which again,
Yep.
sales directly drives into mental health as well. So important to note that.
Dang, we should have done an episode all on that. Ah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, reunion.
Did we just bring this back? Never stop? Nah.
We'll have a
All right.
reunion show. Anyways,
We'll have a
yeah,
reunion show.
yeah.
Before I get to my next point of topic, I'm going to ask, anybody have a question for us now? Drop it in the comments. We are looking, we are watching.
Yeah.
Anyone have any comments for questions? Oh, I do see some comments here. Anyone have questions that they want to
Thanks,
hit at us?
guys. Thanks for being here. I love it. Let's keep going. This is awesome.
All right, we'll keep going. So some statistics for you, JQ. The ghosting episode was the #1 watched episode on YouTube. Who knew? What do you think of that?
That's pretty baller. That's right.
Do you think it's like the topic name that just drew people in? Maybe our audience can tell us, why did you watch that so much? What was so great about
Well, that
this?
was our first episode, so we probably looked really good that day. That helped. And also, I think that is the biggest pain point. Sales reps getting ghosted. In my Tactical Sales Academy 2 weeks ago, I actually added a new tool into week 3. It's on recovery. That's how to get yourself out of a scenario where you're getting ghosted. I created a series of 3 questions, a sequence of 3 questions that any sales rep can ask to get yourself out of that scenario, because that is the biggest hurdle. We get ghosted, we get crickets, we don't get answers.
Yeah.
That's the biggest pain point.
Agreed. I'm not surprised it was the #1 watched. We did come in hot and did some really good promotion around these episodes before they came in. What's up?
Ashley's question. I just got like super excited.
All right, we'll get to her question in 1 second.
Sorry.
But I also wanted
Ashley,
to Oh, we're gonna go there, Ashley. But the one other thing that I loved about all of these episodes so much was the text I received from JQ after every show. And that text usually included a screenshot of us recording, and then she would respond and say, "Wow, we are both so good looking." This is a true story. You can check my records. I just blew her up. True story. All right, let's go to Ashley's question. Can you read that out?
I'm boosting our confidence.
I love it. You boosted me, girl. Do you have an example of going outside your comfort zone prospecting? JQ, I'm gonna let you start.
I love using social selling for prospecting, Ashley. For me, I love to re-engage my existing top relationships. I leverage Instagram. I leverage Facebook if I need to. I leverage LinkedIn, wherever that relationship lies. So here's a great example of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone using social selling. LinkedIn, Instagram. If you're like my dad and you use Facebook, you definitely have the capabilities to send videos and you can record yourself. So Ashley, for me, I re-engage on a Wednesday. That's my cross-selling and upselling day. Go hit LinkedIn. Send a video. Hey, Mr. Customer, thank you a lot for that order last week. What don't I know about your team that I should? I'm committed to growing this relationship. If you leverage that, Ashley, you're letting the customer hear your voice. You're humanizing yourself. You're emotionally connecting to them. I know that sounds scary to sometimes say, get behind the camera or use your voice. But the second your prospect or the other party hears your voice, they're already emotionally bonding to you. So push yourself out of your comfort zone. LinkedIn would never give us the free resources or social media, free send messages, send direct messages, voice recordings, videos. It's free. Use it. So for me, push yourself out of the comfort zone, stay away from the crowded inbox, send a message, use social selling.
Okay, love that. Always love everything you say. I would also say I think pandemic really changed the way that we do business, period, but particularly prospecting. I hear this a lot.
Yes.
In-person meetings are harder. Not everyone is in the office.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of self-promo for prospecting and like tangible 3D dimensional mailers that make someone feel like a kid in a candy store. And the hurdle post-pandemic back to normal has been, well, I don't know if they're at their desk. I don't know if I'm getting their cell phone, their work phone, their home. How do I get their home address to send something? And I think once you have the right prospect, and this goes for your clients too, for if you're doing self promos with clients you're trying to build business with, because one thing I want to always remind in speaking to Jenna and talking about this topic is that prospecting is not just cold calling the CEO of American Express. It is building business within business, soft leads, and all that. So I'm going after JQ. I don't know them at all. I know that's the person, and they've sort of engaged with me a little bit on any of the platforms I'm reaching out, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, email, or phone. It is okay to say, what is the best address to send you something? I am not saying, please share your social security number, your cell phone, and your husband's cell phone. What's the best address to get you something to? It's courteous. Maybe they go to the office once a week. Maybe they prefer things at home. Maybe they want to wait for all packages to go to the office. But you're going to give them that option to say, where should I send something tangible? And I would say like Genumark goodies or something. Now, that doesn't feel great, right? It might feel weird for me to say, JQ, what's your home address? I'm not saying home address. I'm saying, what's the best way for me to get something in your hands? And I think that question makes people a little uncomfortable. And I encourage you to go outside your comfort zone and get uncomfortable with this, because the reality is, this is the world we live in. This is not going back to normal anytime soon. Yes, there are more mandates for more office time, but people really have a preference on where personal packages are going, whether it's home or office now. So just ask, what's the best place for me to mail you something?
Yeah. And also, even to boost your confidence, if that still is like sounds scary, shift it in your head and maybe even word it, hey, I have something I think you need to see. Can I get your address? What's the best address? You need to see this. Doesn't matter what that is. Chances are they need to see it. If you want to sell them that product, they need to see it. So word it like that way as well. It takes the heat off of you. It makes it easier. Hey, I got something you need to see, Joe. What's your address? Instead of, hey, Joe, I have something for you. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like
agreed. And ask. I mean, I have suppliers send me things that I didn't ask. I've had suppliers say, can I send you something? And I don't need a box of stuff. So I've said like, thank you, but I'm going to decline. I think I can see this virtually. And then I'll share when I think it's needed. So I've had people ask
I
me.
love that answer.
It's an answer. It's the honest truth.
Really good.
Yeah. All right, we're going to pop over to a question by someone famous that loves tacos named Jay. And his comment is, who would win in a prospecting lead generation contest, JQ or Joe? I'm going JQ.
Oh, I don't know. It would be fun. It's kind of like asking who's going to win in arm wrestling. I mean,
obviously me. Have you seen my guns?
Hey, PPAI, the main event.
PPAI, I want a live booth. I am arm wrestling JQ. I also lift. She's not the only one. Just because I don't post about it every day, okay? I also go to hotels and lift, okay?
You'd win. Sorry, I don't know why my brain went there.
I'm small but scrappy, okay? I'm hitting that protein, 160 grams a day, okay? Don't just come at me. But that's not about that. We're talking about lead generation and prospecting. Who would win? I say JQ. I'm going to give it to you.
Listen, and I appreciate you saying that. And I think the only reason that it would even potentially happen is because, I speak about this on stage quite a bit. I translated, surviving a mass shooting into my sales perspective. I'm not afraid of anything. I'll ask anyone any question. I'll do it right now. I'll do it whenever. I don't care. I will just ask. I'm not afraid of asking hard questions. I'm super nimble, as are you. I'm super quick, as are you. I leverage my free resources like LinkedIn, as do you. I think it would be a fair contest because we both have that same skill set and mentality of, you're not wasting my time. I'm going to tailor the approach. I know exactly what I'm going for. So I think it would be a fair shot.
Okay.
Not the arm wrestling. Just kidding.
Not the arm wrestling. All right. We have a really good question from someone. I don't recognize the name. I don't really know this person. Stephen Musgrave. It sounds familiar.
I don't know that name.
What is the comfort zone you both still struggle to step out of personally? What still scares you? Immediately, I'm like, is that personally or professionally? Professionally, I would immediately say this. I just hit 1 year at a new company after being someone at another company that I loved for 18 years. So professionally, I'm still dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome, getting to know colleagues, taking a lot of notes about the structure of the company. So I am finding I'm obviously, I come off hot and I come off a lot. And I know that a lot of that energy is needed at Genumark, but I do struggle with like how much Joe is too much in the show. Like I don't want it to always feel like the Joe show at Genumark. And personally, I want to step back and listen a little bit more. So I get scared of people feeling like, oh my gosh, what else does Joe have to say today? What is she going to tell us to do about prospecting, or tell us to do about LinkedIn, or share another success prospecting story? I'm always worried about like how much is too much. That's me professionally right now. How about you, Jay? And I'm also like really scared about not regrowing a book of business that I left behind. I'm really worried. I'm pushing way out of my comfort zone to prospect twice as hard as I did in the beginning of my career. And I would be lying to say if I wasn't scared.
Sure. I love that. Thanks for
I'm
sharing that.
also
That was
not
great.
scared, I want to tell you, of arm wrestling JQ. Next, so JQ, go ahead, your comments now.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, one of the questions that I hesitate, I'm going to take it different. I hope this is an okay answer. One of the questions that I know I have to ask my customers once a quarter as a quarterly check-in, but I'm always afraid to ask it because I'm like, oh my gosh, where's this going to go? I always try and gauge my customers' investment in me, but it scares me. It scares me to ask hard, direct questions, because if you give me an answer and you're not invested in me, I'm like, oh, darn it. So I'll give you an example. Once a quarter, I ask my greatest relationships, hey, I just want to make sure that we're meeting your expectations. Is there anything that I'm not doing for you that I should be? I always get afraid to ask that, because then if I get an answer back that, well, so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am really behind the eight ball. So it throws me in this loop of like, JQ, you're always exactly where you're supposed to be, but ask the question. So I remind Tori of that, as like, as we're growing our business and as we ask that scary question, what is blank doing for you that we're not? What should we be doing for you that we're not doing? That's a hard question to ask, because the answer can be wild. So also the answer, whatever your customer really does give you as far as an answer, if it's a surface answer, not invested. If they say, well, this is what you're not doing, and this person's doing this, and we really want to give you this business, and well, we need this from you, they're totally invested. That's a good sign. So for me, it's just asking that question that I actually stray from, but I force myself to do it because I know that I have to do it. But I'm always afraid of that. I hope that's an okay answer.
I think that's a really good answer. And I think you touched on something that is super important in all of this. So you mentioned Tori, and I will definitely give HPG a shout out right now. I know Tori's role well. Tori is basically an extension of JQ. And I think we talk a lot about having and empowering a team that can represent you and the company so JQ can go do what she wants to do. Tori is such a good example of someone that is literally living the JQ walk and the talk, and servicing customers, building relationships really behind the scenes for you without you doing much lift. That's awesome. So I think a big part of this struggles that you're doing is, or prospecting and business development, is like also finding a team that can support you, because you can't prospect all day, every day, but you are going to spend a lot of time and energy and resources on it. And when you're doing that, if you don't have a team and someone to back you up on the day-to-day and the wheels and the motion, that's just awful. And find that person that is in sync with you, in step with you, has your back, comes to meetings, listens, observes, shadows. I have to give Tori a shout out there.
Thank you for doing that, Joe. And I love that. And to piggyback on that, thank you so much for saying that. But to piggyback on that, I'm a sales rep. Tori's a sales rep. You're a sales rep. We're all sales reps. We're all in this together. Every tool that I put out there, every tidbit of advice you and I have talked about, I follow. Tori and I both follow my own prospecting schedule. How do you think we maintain our relationships? We have to, so thank you for that. It means a lot that you would do that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Laura M says, how about an encore to the show? I say never. We could put on the table. Thank you for the comment. Going back to Ashley, she's got some great questions today. Ashley says, how do you boost yourself up after multiple no's? I can definitely take this. I think the multiple no's thing, I always have a photo in my head. And so if you feel like you have the right person, and again, JQ is my example. I'm prospecting JQ. And finally, JQ responds to me via call, email, whatever it is. And JQ says, I've received everything you've sent. I've received your voicemails, your mailers, whatever it might be. Thank you for sending everything. Right now, we're really happy with our current vendor. When that scenario comes, or something like that, and really just a response, I only have one image in my head, and that image is a scene out of Dumb and Dumber that says, "So you're saying there's a chance?" And so for me, JQ responded, right? JQ took the time to respond to me. Am I going to double down and go harder on JQ? But I'm going to say something along the lines of, thanks for your response. Completely respect and value relationship. I'd like to be in the running if and when available. And just, the slow drip, the virtuals, the specs, the calls every now and then, sending, touching. You just never know when your prospect has their worst day with your competition. That is when your in is. And if you're out of their inbox and out of their voicemails and out of their mailbox, then they're going to call the next person on the list that was prospecting. So I would say if you keep getting no's, remember that there is always a chance in a no. I love a big never say never. You just never know. Now, if JQ says, remove me from your list, I'm not the right person for you, we're never going to do business, our spend is here, that's pretty much a no. But I think morale wise, you have to remember that a response is a yes, a response is something. If a response is a really nice courtesy, and you're going to have to do it over and over, and those no's can feel defeating. And so then you go celebrate every single win. You celebrate that the 7 other people I have been prospecting did ask me for a quote in the last month, and you celebrate those so hard, even if they're small, tiny orders. You celebrate them to boost yourself. Again, this goes back to your team. Right now, I'm working with Alexis Bernard and Mandy Rudd very closely in the US, and we drop in chat. Prospect thank me for the mailer I sent them. Prospect open the virtual I sent them. That's a win. That's a win. And we literally hype each other. We're like, you are a queen. You slay. You are the world. You are rocking it. You're on track to do 1 million. And we just all day intentionally boost each other. So you keep yourself with a team that even when you're down and it hasn't been the best week or the best month, have someone else lift you and remind you you're not an imposter, that the process is going to work, and that you have to keep trying and get some no's before you get a yes. I've said a lot. JQ, what you got?
I love that answer. I'm going to give tools away if that's okay, Ashley. So here is my answer. I'm okay with no's. Rejection, this is affirmation as a sales rep that I just reminded myself. Rejection will always guide me to my ideal customer. Rejection will always guide me to my ideal project, my ideal prospect. But also in week 2 of my Tactical Sales Academy, I give away what I call a reality check sequence. I give away 3 questions that I ask a customer to follow up on a project. And after these 3 questions, the way that I've designed them, the way that I've worded them, I cannot think of a 4th question that I would ever have to ask a customer to follow up after these 3 questions. So basically, I've guaranteed myself a 3-week sales cycle. So I'll give you the questions right now if it's cool, because let's do this, right? Ashley, the first time I'm ever going to follow up on something, if I quote something for you, the first time I follow up, I'm going to ask this. Hey, Ashley, do you want to continue exploring this? That's the first time. And I only follow up on things on Monday. Monday's the only day that I would ever follow up on anything. I got too much other shit to do. Monday's it. Monday's my do business day. If I have to ask you a second time, because you're either going to give me a yes, a no, or silence. If it's a no, great, I'll re-engage you in 3 days, because that's my rule. After every order I lose, I re-engage that buyer within 3 days. If the answer is yes, you and I will move the project down the field. But if you give me silence, no sweat off my back. I'll be back next Monday. If I have to ask you a second time, I'm going to start to bring the reality to the forefront a little bit. You're not responding to me. I know you're not. Don't waste my time. So the question changes. It's now, hey, Ashley. Actually, dang, I can't share my screen, can I, Joe? All right. The question is, hey, Ashley, should I still be focused on this for you?
I think you can present. Do you see something at the bottom that says present?
Yeah, I'll just, Ashley, please hit me up after this. I'm going to screenshot this to you out of field training. Anyone who's listening, if you want these, I will give these to you. All right, so Ashley, there's the second time I'm asking. Now the question's different. Should I still be focused on this for you? I'm bringing the reality to the forefront. Do not waste my time. Now, if you give me a yes, great, we'll move it along. If you give me a no, great, I'll re-engage you. If you give me silence, no sweat off my back. I'll be back next Monday, 3rd and final time. The last time I follow up on this project with you, here's the question. I'm going to be super direct. Hey, Ashley, is this still a realistic opportunity for us to partner on together? So that's how I handle no's. If you give me silence to that, or a no, I'm totally okay because the reality is it has nothing to do with me. It's a totally external factor. I followed up. I've been super direct. You have or you have not given me the right communication. And my next part of this answer, Ashley, is the next step is if I have a customer in my life that's been ghosting me and not giving me answers, I have a whole week in my Sales Academy dedicated to strategies to recover after lost clients and lost orders. And that week is all about qualifying what you think is there before you reach back out and bring on your own pain. So for me, how I handle multiple no's, I'm fine with it because I know realistically, I'm not coming back. If you give me multiple no's, I'm going to totally qualify and say, should I even call this girl back and bring on my own pain? There's so much other low hanging fruit here. I'm going after her and her and her. I don't have to call Ashley back, but I'm going to qualify it before I think I do. So I protect myself. So, get it? Okay. Yeah.
No, that's perfect and super honest. I definitely agree to disagree. I have a little bit of a different approach because I will take
Yes.
no's and silence for a year, years before getting in. I think it's a long, slow game, but I totally respect and hear what you're saying. Lisa Foltz has a question. Hi, Lisa. What have you found to be the biggest challenge in prospecting today, and how have you overcome it? Since I stole the show in the first one, I'm going to let you start and then I'll go.
Okay. The biggest hurdle in prospecting for sales reps is mental health barrier. There's a lot of evidence around that. It's also sales reps. 48% of sales reps do not know what to say when they reach out or re-engage a customer. So that holds us back. To solve that, I created a 2-minute exercise. I just set a timer for 2 minutes before every encounter I have. And I'm always focused on what I'm not getting, who do I not know, what services do I offer they're not taking advantage of. And once I write down 4 to 6 things, then I never run into the problem of confidence. I never run into not knowing what to say. I just did the research. Preparation will create confidence. So for me, Lisa, I don't want to be in a situation where I don't know what to say or where I'm not feeling confident. So if I've realized and identified what's realistically there by identifying what I'm currently not selling them, then that gives me a really good realistic re-engagement topic for me to go back. And that helps me prospect. I'm tailoring the approach. I have a higher likelihood of getting answers.
Okay, I'll tell you what I've seen that has not changed pre-pandemic, during pandemic, post-pandemic, and it's one word and it has not changed, and I hear it really often, and that word is busy, busy. I hear people tell me all the time, I want to grow my book of business. I want to hear your tips. I want to hear the tricks. I'm too busy to listen to this podcast. I'm too busy to call someone this week. I'm too busy to think about what clients I can grow. And so the biggest hurdle I would say and challenge in prospecting for most people is busy and being reactive all the time versus proactive. So I think, again, it goes back to your team. If you can get a team that is over servicing your clients, killing it, doing a great job, you should only be in the growth mode and qualifying mode and the prospecting mode so you can land and your team can expand. So I think the biggest challenge is the mental roadblock of Lisa, you saying, and I'm not saying you do this, but Lisa saying, I had a great list this week of people to tackle and people to call and people to do research on and qualify. And I just got so busy with all these fires and my clients needed me. I think that's all a lot of words. And I hear it so often. I've seen people cancel calls, cancel check-ins, cancel accountability because they're too busy. And I do think they're busy. I think they have a great book of business. I'm jealous. I think some people are just killing it out there and really successful in servicing their clients in the best of ways. But you got to find a team that can take a little of that so you can do the things that you want to do to scale your business. So I would say using the word busy and not aligning your workday with, around making time for the prospecting is a huge roadblock right now.
Lisa, hit me up. I don't know where we're connected, but I'll give you my Monday through Friday prospecting schedule. Pair that with really what Joe is saying. Pair that with everything we've put out there, all this content. It's just re-engagement. It's just getting back out there, asking hard, direct, invasive questions, doing preparation, doing discovery, not just throwing. Am I allowed to say? Not throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks. Tailoring the approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and just so you know, because I know you have offered a little bit of content and out there. Do you want to write down? Lisa Foltz wants some information. Ashley and Laura want the bullets that you offered. Ashley, the 5 things about no's.
Oh, The questions, the reality check. Yeah, I'll get that to you.
Yay. All right. So gonna go back to a couple things that we had taken notes on. Um, do you feel like in all the episodes we did, was there anything that was hard for you to be super transparent on, or anything you struggled with preparing, or anything like that?
No, like back to the imposter syndrome. That one was where I learned the most about myself. So.
I totally agree with you. I was gonna say the same thing. I don't think we did either one of us did a ton of preparation. We would usually come up with a topic and a minute before recording, talk through what felt important to us, and it was usually two different things. Um, But in doing that, I felt like I was talking about layers of myself I didn't realize I was struggling with. So I felt like I came out of a therapy session after that one.
Samesies. Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna jump
same.
to another talking point, but again, if other people have questions, we still have time to answer questions, drop them in the chat. All right. I love this question. People are asking, what is some feedback that you learned or positive comments from this? Um,
Yes.
I received a lot of personal DMs and emails saying it totally reinvigorated people in the way that they want to go to market. And just, I think it was a few months ago, so it felt like a good time for people to get into holiday mode and prospecting. And a lot of people said they're using it as training for their new employees. Love to hear that. I will also say this because Jen and I and JQ and I would get comments at shows or comments in person or DMs. Something I've learned in this industry is suppliers and distributors and service providers are such champions of the work that we're all doing. And so please connect with everyone that you meet, everyone in this chat on LinkedIn, because I had a train of thought and it just left me. Oh my gosh, totally left me.
It'll come
Oh, I
back.
got it. I got it. I got it. So when I would get this private message, text, call, whatever it might be, I would thank them and we'd talk through the feedback and all that. But there is no reason you can't put that out there. So if people are posting about an episode or talking or there's a conversation with comments, don't be afraid to not be a lurker and to post. It helps boost algorithms. You will get other people to see it. Again, I'm so thankful for this industry that champions the work that we're doing, the posts that we're doing, even competition. But the personal messages are great, but don't ever be afraid to go boost the work that Jenna's doing or anyone else is doing that you admire, because you have no idea how much those comments and algorithms affect the outcome for JQ. So thank you for all the personal feedback about how it changed the way you're doing business and how it changed just like an attitude. And I think a lot of people use the word just relatable, bite-sized information, things that were easy to digest, didn't feel, like we were just pointing a finger at you and telling you what to do, super conversational. I loved that feedback. What you got for me, JQ?
Yeah, I heard that we gave a lot of folks some really good driving content. I heard a lot from the supplier side, which is great. A lot of my fellow suppliers were listening to this, and it gave them different ideas to re-engage you distributor customers. And I've been a leader at multiple suppliers, and I'll tell you, one of my biggest pain points is when suppliers dump product on you guys. Ooh, really bothers me. It's like they just show up and throw up expecting you guys to sell the product for them. It really pisses me off, actually. So when I think about suppliers that said, JQ, thanks for the re-engagement tactics, that just tells me y'all are going to get better service. And that makes me happy because, Joe, you and I, through this content, really could have been responsible for changing the industry just by helping other folks with resources they never had. So for me, it was the feedback from my fellow suppliers, which I love to hear that they're changing their game a little bit, which means you guys will have better service. And then I think too, we've probably created a community around people that have the same pain points we do. We're talking about real life shit. So I think that there's probably more friendships that have come out of this and connections.
Totally agree with you. What do you feel like are some key takeaways or critical points you feel like people should take from all the shows that we did and things that you want to get out there in the industry? I mean, for me, it's really like just do it. I always joke like there's just a secret to prospecting. It's a big secret. I'm going to tell you right now. Take your pens out. Here it is. Just do it. And again, we get to that word of busy, coming in, having fires and emails in our inboxes and urgencies. And I'm not saying those things don't happen. I'm not saying to ignore those because they do. They're real things. But if you are not carving out the time and making the time and staying super hungry, right? Start to see that success and that growth and start scaling your team a little bit more. But if you don't stay hungry and think like there is just so much potential out there, for me, it's critical that you're always thinking about like your biggest client can go away tomorrow. What else is out there that I can like conquer?
Yep.
What
No,
about
I'm
you
with
for
you on that.
takeaways?
Yep. No, I like that. My biggest takeaways that I want folks to walk away with are, look, listen, prospecting should be done every single day. Prospecting is discovery, it's research, it's planning, it's laying the groundwork, it's vetting everything out that's on your plate, it's qualifying the business, it's not daydreaming. So I'd say hit me up for another offline conversation with prospecting. I will give my schedule away to anyone. It includes 5 different prospecting tasks that you can do on a daily basis, nothing more than 30 minutes a day. And I wrote millions of dollars. So I just want sales reps to not overthink prospecting at all. Those 3 questions I gave away that I'll text you, Ashley and Laura. I just want sales reps to know tools exist. We can also help ourselves. Get out of your own way. Ask hard, direct questions. When sales reps, oh, now I'm getting passionate. Guys, if you ever feel like it's slow outside, it's slow out. No, it's not. Go re-engage. Go, call a former customer. The easiest way to grow your business is 2 ways: re-engage and call former clients. That's it. Call them. That's it. So please know it's just easy. Just get out of your own way, make the phone call, YOLO. That's it.
Love it. All right, going to go to a next question by Haley Moore. So, when was a time you were prospecting that really stuck with you? So, I'm going to take this like a good prospecting story, maybe a bad prospecting story. I have one of both. I had a qualified lead that I was going after for a very long time, sending things, calling, voicemail, all the song and dance that I do. And one day when I was in an office years ago, dating myself, I looked at the phone as my phone rang and the phone had caller ID and the prospect was calling me. If we could just let that sink in, she was calling me. So I picked up the phone and she said, I want to acknowledge that I've received everything you've been sending over the last few months and years. And I feel like I should thank you because I can tell it's quality and that you put time, effort, and money into what you're sending me. And then she shared that she had a very long-standing relationship with their current vendor and the company, and there was over 30 years of experience, and that they could just never simply change their vendor. So I did ask her if I could just stay in her inbox and occasionally like, pop up and share fun, proactive ideas. She said yes. And that lead turned into a $250,000 account and really took off from there. So that was a really fun one for me, just staying at it for years. And then a really hard one for me was we had done this like really fun bubble gum mailer at my former company, and there was a mailer for self promo and prospecting and a cute tagline, and it came in a glass jar. And I sent the lead the mailer with my little personalized note and couldn't wait to follow up. And when I did follow up, she said, the jar arrived broken and I got cut from the glass. Don't mail or email me anything else. So I deeply apologized and took her off the list. So yeah, sometimes things go really bad. Sometimes they go really well. Those 2 stuck out with me. I'm sure I have a lot more, but JQ, what's one that stuck out with you?
Yeah, no, this is a really good question. So I'll take you back. I was with Alfred Broder for 11 years. I had only ever sold apparel, never sold hard goods in my life. And I wanted to stab on your side of the business, the distributor side. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know who I was going to prospect on. I just went ham on LinkedIn and was like, well, good luck to me. I was getting frustrated. I was hitting walls. I was not getting a lot of responses. I felt like I didn't know what to say. I was really frustrated. And I thought to myself, I left Alpha for this. You got to be kidding me. This was in December of 2019. I was at a Christmas party, my aunt's Christmas party. My cousin Ashley is a manifestation coach. She's a Reiki master, does breath work, past life regression, really neat individual. And I've never been, Hallie, the type of person that was like into crystals and manifestation. Never been my thing. Had a few glasses of wine. And my cousin says, how's work? We were catching up. She knows exactly what we do. She understands promo. So I told her what was going on, that I had failed prospecting. Remember, she's a manifestation coach. She works with brands, big entrepreneurs, and she manifests their dream personas, their dream clients. She's full of exercises. So she says to me, you want to do an exercise at a Christmas party? Again, 2 or 3 glasses of wine deep. I said, sure, cousin, I'll do your little exercise with you. She says, well, who's your dream customer? I said, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. So she says, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes. Let's talk how prospecting got really good for me. So I closed my eyes and she says, tell me about your perfect customer. So I described my perfect customer: construction, blue collar, trucking, automotive. She says, tell me about their demographics. I said, heavy male, maybe out of the South, maybe out of the Midwest. They're buying apparel, they're buying Carhartt, they're buying, camo, those types of brands. She says, how many employees do they have? They have hundreds or thousands? I said, they have thousands of employees. She said, how many locations do they have? Are they nationwide? Are they global? Where are the locations? Where's the headquarters? At this point, she also made me pick an industry because at the point I was like blue collar for sure, but she made me narrow down. Well, what is it, cousin? Trucking, automotive, construction. So I said automotive. So I start manifesting. What am I selling? Because she says, what are you selling your favorite customer, this dream customer? So I'm going, Hallie, I'm going ham. Uniforming, recognition. I'm thinking about dealerships. I'm thinking mouse pads, office supplies, trade show, parts and service. I get wild. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like hypnotized. She says, tell me what some of the pain points your dream customer could have in their industry. Remember, a little drunk, diving into it. I said, pain points in automotive. I don't know, probably getting women in, safety, recognition. So I just started imagining what an automotive company could be dealing with. Probably millennials, getting those folks in, wanting to do service and parts and labor. So she says, all right, cousin, what's the relationship look like? Tell me all about the relationship. I said, oh my gosh, they love me. I'm their favorite. They answer the phone whenever I call. I can fly whenever I want. I walk into the office whenever. I'm their favorite. Remember, I'm having fun. I'm manifesting. She says, all right, final question. What's the impact this customer is going to have on your career? How much are they going to be worth to you year one? Again, having fun. I said, I don't know, Ashley, $1 million, $1 million. At the end of the exercise, she says, who are you thinking about? Who's this client? And I remember saying, Subaru came to mind. It was the weirdest thing. I never in my mind thought about Subaru, Chevy, Ford. That's who came to mind, Hallie. So I don't know what happened the rest of the night, but I started prospecting. Remember, failed prospecting up until this exercise with my cousin. Getting lost, wasting time, getting frustrated, not really knowing who my perfect customer was. So I get back to work. I start prospecting within the next few weeks. This is before PPAI in 2020. I start prospecting. And before I knew it, I pulled up Subaru. I pulled up Chevy. I pulled up Ford. I was like, oh my gosh, my cousin hypnotized me. What am I doing? So I'm prospecting. And as you know, when you're on LinkedIn, what happens? Similar brands pop up and similar companies from the industry you're currently looking at. So I see Jiffy Lube. I click on Jiffy Lube. I'm like, oh, what's this? I look at it. 2,000 employees, franchises. Nope. Doesn't look like what I told my cousin I want. I see AutoZone. I click on AutoZone. Franchises, no, don't want that. I click on Pennzoil. I see Valvoline. I go, boop. I click on Valvoline. Dang. I'm looking. I go, oh shit. 22,000 employees, 650 locations. Time out. I start making contact, Hallie. I pull up marketing people. I start connecting and I send the message. This is the exact message I sent. Hey, I'm looking to connect with other marketing professionals in the automotive industry. Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. I sent that to everyone in marketing at Valvoline. Anyone got that message? Probably over 40 people. I got so many responses. I got so many people that said yes. I didn't ask them to do anything. I wasn't asking for you to book a meeting with me. Don't look at my catalog. Don't look at my storyboard. I don't want a meeting with you. I don't want your email address. I don't care. Virtual handshake. Bye. And then I would go back and I just said, I want to work with you. Help me understand what it takes to become a preferred supplier. I have really good ideas and I have a passion for working with your brand. Can I please earn time on your calendar? I asked one regional marketing guy that, and it was like wildfire. I called my cousin. This is before my meeting. I called her and I said, Ashley, I don't know what you did to me, but you hypnotized me. I have a meeting with Valvoline. Hallie, in a million years, I would have never, ever, ever said, I'm going to call on Valvoline. Ever. But I went down the rabbit hole in prospecting after failed attempts. My cousin rerouted me. I had clarity. I had confidence. I had some sort of a plan. And then before I knew it, I was off to the races, writing millions of dollars with Valvoline out of nowhere within really weeks. I just asked the right questions. I got their event calendar
so
very
good.
early on. So there it is. So that's my answer, Hallie. I know it's a long story, but for me, that's my prospecting experience. Failure turned into, yeah. Woof.
Great story. Love it. Definitely get me in touch with your cousin. Okay. Again, Jay Taco Man, he asks, do you have any advice or insights for the one woman, one man, one person show? Not the same as Just Busy. Do you have a technique like time block? This is a great question because I do know this industry is full of amazing small distributors, suppliers, and service providers. I think you need to time block, and I think time blocking looks really different for everyone. I think what I do and Jenna do are very different. I do not do a ton of outreach on Monday and Friday. Monday and Friday for me are the blocking. So what I mean by that is I'm blocking and stacking research to qualify clients, getting virtuals, ordering specs, following up, getting UPS packages ready, time blocking so that I can prepare myself for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are my strongest days for people. Nobody wants to meet really on a Friday about something new. People are trying to get to the weekend. Monday, people are usually cranky. I find for me, what I like to do is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think you have to find the time block that works for you, but I don't suggest Mondays and Fridays, which I know JQ disagrees with. I love a good stack of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with prep work on the bookend days. And if you're a one-man show, again, I know that's going to feel overwhelming, but I think you have to figure out probably time and later in the day on Mondays and Fridays to do the prep work, to do outreach, earlier in the day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if you anybody wants to talk to me about that specifically, hit me up on LinkedIn. JQ, I know you don't agree.
Well, no, I kind of do because you just said Monday and Friday are your prep days. I guess they were in mine too, but in my schedule, I have a Monday through Friday prospecting schedule. Every single day, I have a different prospecting task. So I'm still generating new business every single day. And it's really organic outreach and asking hard direct questions. So for me, it was just Monday through Friday prospecting schedule that kept me on track as a one person show until I hit my first million. And then the owners I worked for were wonderful enough to get me somebody to help me grow the business. And for every million I hit, I was able to add somebody to my team to help me manage the business.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Okay, we have another question here, and it's how are you using promo print apparel to help you prospect? Great question. This came from a print master, Jay Taco Man. I would say probably not as much as I can. I think showing their unique decoration options is a really good way to get in front of your customers, especially when it's not front, left, chest, embroidery on a polo. So yes, I will. I have some of my favorites in my back pocket that I like to share with a lot of clients and prospects, which is debossing an apparel, private label, unique, puff print, things like that, lasering on apparel. I think some of that stuff is just not in our clients and prospects
Yep.
inboxes enough. So I do show a lot of that when prospecting because I think you just don't want us to talk about how you can sell some pens. I would love to hear examples from others that are using print and apparel in a unique way. JQ, what about you?
Okay, I know. I did not. I did not when I was a distributor. I didn't send samples. I didn't send specs. I didn't spend time in decks. I didn't send virtuals. I just asked hard, direct, and basic questions. And from there, I let that lead me to presenting the right thing. So was not the right person that sent out gifts. I just didn't spend my time there.
Cool. Well, we need more questions. We've addressed everyone's questions, I hope. I think I went through everything, but if people want to chime in, we need your questions so we can answer them live. What you got, everybody?
This has been fun.
This has been fun.
I know. I feel like we
Comments, bring them in, bring them in. Or we could just stare at
Oh,
the
you have
screen.
us. Yeah, I know. Can you ask? I love that. This has been fun, Joe. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that we should like touch on.
Nope, we're going dry. All right, we're going to give everybody another minute, see if any other questions come
We're
in.
going dry. I'm dead.
Yeah, we are dry. All right. Feels like there's no more questions. Oh, Joe, who is your ideal customer? I love this question. One, obviously, I think it's really cool to go after companies that you're aligned with, right? So, Jenny Marcus B Corp, I think it's super important to align with customers that are also walking that walk. So often when I am researching a prospect or a lead, I am looking at their values, at their LinkedIn, at a little work they're doing just for feel good causes. So I am looking at someone that is super aligned with B Corp because I think if it's important to us and it's important to them, it's just a perfect marriage. I also think it's really fun to look at lists like best places to work, great company culture, cool office spaces, things that you feel like you can connect with that are cool to you. And then, for me, there's just also just like the facts. So I'm constantly checking lists that are like fastest growing companies in Chicago, things like that. So my ideal customer is mainly someone that actually just gives a shit, right? So someone that is aligned with the B Corp values that Jenny Mark talks about a lot, socially conscious customer that when we talk about a woman-owned product, that their eyes are sort of lighting up and nodding their head saying that feels really good to us as well. And here is why. So my ideal customer is someone that does really care and is probably a little bit of an activist and doing the right things for community and most importantly for their employees. How about you, JQ?
You. Somebody that wants to grow, somebody that's committed to growing, somebody, Joe, I could call you at any time. I can ask you a hard question. You and I are friends. We talk about our kids. We talk about things that are outside of work. You're my ideal customer, somebody that I can grow with over time, that respects me, respects my time. You're grateful for me. I'm grateful for you. That you're my ideal customer.
Okay, I'll give you more business. You don't have to put me on the spot like that in front of all these people. I'm gonna give it to Tori though, not to you, to Tori. I hope Tori's watching.
Please do. She'll be the much better at it anyway.
She just did some sick virtuals for me. Anybody else have any questions for us? And thank you for everyone that has chimed in or given questions and comments.
I'm going to the gym now to celebrate the ending of this time with you, Joe.
Well, I'm a morning person. I already went and didn't post about it, but I will tomorrow maybe post about it. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. You know how to find us. If you don't, JQ is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. JQ and I are on Instagram. Happy to answer any questions. You can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn and DM me on LinkedIn for the fastest response. I love connecting with people. I love being a cheerleader. So if you're posting things out there, I want to comment and help support and reach for your network. JQ, what you got to say?
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for this opportunity. I've had fun. I've learned a lot.
It's been a pleasure. I'm so glad we got to know each other better through this.
You're the best.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day. We're ending this now. Thank you.